let me know. Write me a letter. Tweet at us using hashtag #TheLensCTV. Write to Catholic TV. Or next time you see me walking into church 10 minutes late with my baby, who I'll use as an excuse, but it's not her fault. And yes, I will be looking disheveled. More disheveled than I look on this show. Let me know when you see me in church. We will see if FDR was right. We'll see where we and what we can do together. But for now, we'll be right back.
Safety Council and the University of Iowa.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Have returned. Faith Buzz time, Steph Sconia, lightning round. We have 30 believes in the power of Lent. I hope that rage is just treated during this solemn time.
I appreciate your prayers.
And continues after Lent as well, for your sake and the good of all licensed drivers. Tweet number 1. Catherine Jean Lopez, who will be a guest, by the way, on Encounter in March. Encounter, great show. You know who runs that show? Kevin Nelson, dear friend, producer of the show, an excellent singer, mezzo-soprano. You probably didn't know that.
Kevin, really?
4, #Lent, forgive people who haven't asked for your forgiveness. Remember Jesus' words on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. God insists on mercy. Be love. That's how to change people. I love this quote, and I love the earnestness of it, and it's very direct. It's clear and something I can totally get behind.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends who are converts from the Protestant faith or from agnosticism or something, and it's beautiful to hear kind of how they got into the Catholic faith, and often it's just knowing people and being friends with people who have reached out and walked with them, and next thing you know, they're learning about the faith, they're finding this deeper understanding of Christianity, and they're coming home. So
it's beautiful.
It's wonderful.
You told a story on the show maybe a year ago about, was it some members of your family were converted to the church?
Actually, recently, February 5th.
This is the theme of the show, and this is what everyone is talking about right now, and I'm glad that is the case.
I know.
That this conversation does not just sort of die out, that this conversation is not muted or diminished, that these conversations around both school shootings, violence, all elements related to this, and how we as Catholics, we as people, we as humans manage these things and get through them, can be helping to prevent them, is of critical importance. Why we picked this tweet, why we appreciate this.
Right.
Your reaction.
Yeah, well, and you've been mentioning fear, and that's, I even had a nightmare the other night of a shooting. It's like why, now this is in the back of everyone's, receiving. Not that God needs to receive anything from us, but it's this idea of, we do our part to speak to God, but we also have to prepare that place to receive what he has to offer back. And sometimes it's, it's not going to be a voice in your ear. I think we all wish that would happen.
Right. Voice in your ear, or a very apparent, clear sign.
Yeah, but I've been seeing this even in my own life, just kind of things weirdly coming together, and people kind of showing up right at the right times and telling me what I need to know. And it's just sort of it's those moments that we realize that God knows what we need, and we can ask him for it, but he'll also show it to us.
Divine providence.
Yeah.
Thank you, God.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're everywhere. I don't need to just look up. Number 5, the last tweet. Prayers that I say in the car, rage or no rage. Steph, keep on trucking during Lent.
I will.
Always like spending time with you. When we return, we're going to take a deep dive into the depths of Mr. Charles Green's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs heart and soul. Talking fear. Stay tuned.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the...
Use it against you. Or I will learn it was this experience and I will exploit that. I think there's this distrust in sharing our fears. But if we could be open as a society, as we are on this show, a society of friends and listeners and followers and watchers of this show, let's start the trend. What are you afraid of, Charles? And I'll respond in kind.
Well, I'll take your words, you know, for the place in the heart I think they come from. And it's, I mean, it is, admits to a vulnerability. But I mean, for me, I would have to say it was those years in the late 70s when the outbreaks of mustache blight were still...
What I'm afraid of, and I would imagine folks at home think about this. You know, we talked earlier in the show about reflective prayer, deliberately saying the Our Father. During Lent, trying to be more committed to being reflective and deliberate about things. And I would say if we look at fear or we try and hide fear or quell it or not talk about it, be distracted by it, that's certainly one thing. But if we open up to it and confront it, I actually think that's a really healthy way to have a reciprocal relationship. And for me, I am terrified of letting people down. I am terrified of relationships that sour. I am terrified and afraid of... I think it's totally fine. And that there's this sense that everything I'm afraid of, I want to get over. I want to break my fears. That's a great idea. But I'm going to say, like, it's okay to still be a little afraid of heights. You don't have to completely break it. Charles, give you the last word.
Well, heights is one, definitely. But heights, drowning, you know, various mischances and things, narrow escapes. Fear is mostly a signal, but I didn't know anything about fear, though I thought I did, until I was a parent. And until the stakes have risen to such an alarming level that each and every action and word that you perform seems fraught with immense consequence. And yeah, that's still there.
A year ago, Charles, I would have said, yeah, sounds like it would be. And now with a child myself, you're right. Every action is fraught with consequences, good or bad, and you are responsible. And I think having a healthy sense of fear, we talk about fear of God, we talk about fear of making sure that we're doing the right things. I think it kind of can, in some ways, elevate ourselves to be ready and prepared for those decisions and not to take them lightly. And I think that's okay. And as a parent, without any of the years of experience that you have, I've always looked to you, Charles, as a good model, and it'll be nice to know that you're someone I can rely on in that space, and that it's okay. You're afraid, I'm afraid, we're probably all afraid in some way of being good enough for our kids. So anyway, folks, different tone of the show today. Appreciate everything Charles, Steph had to say. We'll give you some thought-provoking stuff today. Next week on the show, tune in next week for more thoughts, musings on Lent and the resurrection forthcoming. Good night.
It is here where you'll find the best marriage counselor, greatest healer, wisest teacher, and closest friend. It's a place where you'll escape the chaos of the world and find the lasting peace that only comes from God. Jesus is personally waiting to embrace you now with His divine mercy and healing love. Jesus is calling you home to His sacred heart today.
I need mercy. I need a Savior.